Hello everybody and welcome back once again to Let's Play Skyrim. The last time we left off we headed to Yingol Barrow in the early hours of the morning to retrieve the Helm of Winterhold for Jarl Courier. We retrieved said helm, returned to Winterhold, handed it to the Jarl, and due to our good deeds around Winterhold itself, we were also bestowed with the title of Thane. So not only are we the Thane of Winterhold, but we are now the Thane of Whiterun. Or the other way round. We are Thane of both places, to be precise. So, after heading out to Yingol Barrow in the early hours of the morning, after heading to Morvenska initially, we had no sleep for quite some time. And so, after returning yesterday evening, by the time we got back to Winterhold it was 6 o'clock in the evening, we had a quick bite to eat, flicked through a couple of books and then went to bed and had a nice 12-hour power nap, if you will. 12-hour power bloody comatose sleep, I think it was more like. And yes, we've woken up this morning refreshed and ready to head out to pastures new. We take a look at the college because it's going to be the last time we see it for a little while, because we are heading today to Shalidor's maze. It's about time we explored some new places, and Shalidor's maze will be the first place that we explore, and then we're going to head to finish off a couple of the college quest lines, mainly obviously finding Shalidor's writings and also finding another book for our librarian friend. And then we shall probably return to the college after we have done all of that. So yes, it's going to be a couple of days worth of adventuring here for Elwynn, at the very least. So he has brought with him some books for company. Now he has read a couple last night, and his interest has been piqued with regards to the Dwemer. And as such, last night he read a couple of books. They weren't too long, a bit of light bedtime reading. Antecedents of Dwemer Law was the first one, and the second one was Dwemer History and Culture. Now he's bought also the Dwemer Inquiries, volumes 1, 2 and 3, in case we get stranded out in the wilds and we need something to do. So whilst I make the trek back to Labyrinthian, so that we can head into Shalidor's maze, we are going to recall the two books that Elwynn read last night before going to bed. And obviously the first one being Antecedents of Dwemer Law. Enjoy. Antecedents of Dwemer Law. A historical account of the development of Dwemer law and custom from its roots in High Elven culture. In short, so far as I am able to trace the order of development in the customs of the Bosmeri tribes, I believe it to have been in all ways comparable to the growth of Altmeri law. The earlier liability for slaves and animals was mainly confined to surrender, which, as in Somerset Isles, later became compensation. And what does this matter for a study of our laws today? So far as concerns the influence of the Altmeri law upon our own, especially the Altmeri law of master and servant, the evidence of it is to be found in every judgment which has been recorded for the last 500 years. It has been stated already that we still repeat the reasoning of the Altmeri magistrates, empty as it is to the present day. And I will quickly show how Altmeri custom can be followed in the courts of the Dwemer. In the laws of Kandar Watch, it is said, if one who is owned by another slaves one who owns himself, the owner must pay the associates 3 fine instruments and the body of the one who is owned. There are many other similar citations, and the same principle is extended even to the case of a centurion by which a man is killed. If at the common workbench one is slain by an animunculi, the associates of the slain may disassemble the animunculi and take its parts within 30 days. It is instructive to compare what Dark has mentioned concerning the rude beasts of the Tenmar forests. If a marsh cat was killed by an Argonian, his family were in disgrace till they retaliated by killing the Argonian, or another like it. But further, if a marsh cat was killed by a fall from a tree, his relatives would take their revenge by toppling the tree and shattering its branches and casting them to every part of the forest. Okay, so who's this mercenary walking down the road? I think we better find out, hadn't we? Did he mumble something about trying to find something or trying to investigate something? Come forth! I wonder if we could just follow him. And he'll end up walking to a location. Or maybe we should just speak to him and find out. Maybe he'll tell us.
There's been word of some trouble nearby. I'm on my way to investigate.
Really? Need a hand? Where exactly are you going?
I probably shouldn't tell everyone who asks. This is important business, you know.
Oh, come on. I could save you a lot of trouble. Maybe I could come along and assist you. You know? Many hands make light work and all that.
If you really want to do my job for me...
No.
Here, I'll mark the location on your map.
I didn't say that.
Just make sure to take care of whatever's going on there. It's my name on the line.
What? I didn't want to bloody do his job for him. I wanted to maybe tag along. Anyhow, he said he's marked my map with a location. Well, that's going to be handy. Look at the damn state of this map. There's tons of places that I haven't been to yet. How am I expected to find it? It's like finding a needle in a bloody haystack. Wonder if it's cropped up in my journal here. Any new quests? Nothing immediately obvious. Well, somehow I don't think we're going to be going to that place anytime soon. Of course, if you have any ideas, feel free to let me know. So we are continuing on our journey towards Shalidor's maze. And next on our list of books that Elwynn read last night was Dwemer History and Culture. A little bit of an insight into the Dwemer themselves, and also it gives us a little bit of a insight into Marabar Sul, who is actually the author of a few tales that Elwynn has read so far in his travels. Ancient Tales of the Dwemer, penned by Marabar Sul, and this book outlines some of that, so enjoy it. Collected Essays on Dwemer History and Culture. Chapter 1. Marabar Sul and the Trivialization of the Dwemer in Popular Culture by Hasfat Anatopolis. A scholar's review of the Dwemer essays written by Marabar Sul. While Marabar Sul's Ancient Tales of the Dwemer was definitively debunked in scholarly circles as early as the reign of Kataraya I, it remains one of the staples of the literate middle classes of the empire and served to set the image of the Dwemer in the popular imagination for generations of schoolchildren. What about this lengthy, but curiously unsubstantial tome has proved so captivating to the public that it has been able to see off both the scorn of the literati and the scathing critiques of the scholars? Before examining this question, a brief summary of the provenance and subsequent career of ancient tales would be appropriate. First published around Second Era 670, in the interregnum between the fall of the First Cyrodiilic Empire and the rise of Tiber Septim, it was originally presented as a serious, scholarly work based on research in the archives of the University of Guilin, and in the chaos of that era was taken at face value. A sign of the sad state of dreamer scholarship in those years. Little is known of the author, but Marabar's Soul was most likely a pseudonym of Gore Philim, a prolific writer of penny dreadful romances of that era, who is known to have used many other pseudonyms. While most of Philim's other work has, thankfully, been lost to history, what little survives matches ancient tales in both language and tone. See Lomis, textual comparison of Gore Philim's A Hypothetical Treachery with Marabar's Soul's Ancient Tales of the Dreamer. Philim lived in Cyrodiil his whole life, writing light entertainments for the elite of the old imperial capital. Why he decided to turn his hand to the Dreamer is unknown, but it is clear that his research consisted of nothing more than collecting the peasants' tales of the Nibelheim Valley and recasting them in Dreamer guise. The book proved popular in Cyrodiil, and Philim continued to churn out more volumes until the series numbered 7 in all. Ancient Tales of the Dreamer was thus firmly established as a local favourite in Cyrodiil, already in its 17th printing, when the historical forces that propelled Tiber Sept into prominence also began to spread the literature of the Heartland across the continent. Marabar's Soul's version of the Dreamer was seized upon in a surge of human racial nationalism that has not yet subsided. The Dreamer appear in these tales as creatures of fable and light fantasy, but in general they are just like us. They come across as a bit eccentric, perhaps, but certainly there is nothing fearsome or dangerous about them. Compare these to the Dreamer of early Redguard legend, a mysterious, powerful race capable of bending the very laws of nature to their will. Vanished, but perhaps not gone. Or the Dreamer portrayed in the most ancient Nord sagas, fearsome warriors tainted by blasphemous religious practices who used their profane mechanisms to drive the Nords from Morrowind. Marabar's Soul's Dreamer were pretty much more amenable to the spirit of the time, which saw humans as the pinnacle of creation and the other races as unenlightened barbarians or imperfect, lesser versions of humans eager for tutelage. Ancient Tales falls firmly in the latter camp, which does much to explain its enduring hold on the popular imagination. Marabar's Soul's Dreamer are so much more comfortable, so much friendlier, so much more familiar than the real Dreamer, whose truly mysterious nature we are only beginning to understand. The public prefers the light, trivial version of this vanished race, and from what I have learned in my years of studying the Dreamer, I have some sympathy for that preference. As the following essays will show, the Dreamer were, to our modern eyes, a remarkably unlikable people in many ways. Okay, so speaking of Dreamer, there seems to be some kind of Dreamer structure here, but it's not on my map marker and there's no obvious ways into this. Kind of weird. Sort of stuck in the middle of nowhere. Anyhow, as you have witnessed, I have chosen to go an alternative route to my destination. But the usual route would be to go to Whiterun and then head to Labyrinthian through that way, you know, like before. However, this time I'm choosing to go a slightly different way, to get an alternative perspective of the world. As you just witnessed, I stumbled across a new location. We can't do anything with it, but it's just, you know, interesting to see different structures. different places that may crop up, random encounters that may happen, all that kind of stuff. It is what keeps this game fresh. I mean, I've been playing this game now for how many hours? My latest game save should tell us that.